Hey gamers, GTA 4 is one of the most unique entries in the entire series as it got incredibly close to realism. This created many interesting things and facts, which I'll share with you in this video, so subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's get started. Remember that abandoned mansion in West Dyke, considered a beautiful symbolic reference to Salvatore Leone's home from GTA 3? As a reminder, that one was also located in Liberty City, in a similar location with similar layout, even though it's in a different game universe. But that didn't stop the developers from making such a purely symbolic reference. Well, it seems that the reference doesn't end there. Let's recall the mission Truck Hustle, where Nico has to steal a truck. Over the phone, Phil Bell tells us about his nephew who will be waiting at the abandoned mansion, and this person's name is Frankie. In one of the following missions, we meet him again in the same place. According to the story, he apparently conducts some business right there. The interesting thing is that in the early development stages of GTA 3, Salvatore was called Frankie. Even in the game files, this character's texture is labeled exactly that way. In GTA 4, tires deflate slowly after being shot. This is yet another cool detail from GTA 4. Unlike most games where tires just immediately pop, here they gradually lose air over time. And it doesn't stop there. The bullet hole itself is actually physically simulated. If the wheel is spinning, the little stream of air escaping from it will spin too. It's one of those tiny details that's easy to overlook, but all these little things together made the game feel so realistic that, at the time of its release, it truly felt like a next-gen experience. Have you ever wondered how to get through this toll road without getting a wanted level? The answer has always been right there. You just needed to drive through here. On motorcycles, this is an excellent option. You can pass through without any problems. But with bulkier cars, you might run into issues. On the other hand, when squeezing through this gap, you damage your car so badly that it's easier to drive around with a wanted level for a bit than to crawl through this hole. And I can't help but mention that if you're driving a vehicle with emergency service lights, you can safely fly through the toll gate without getting a star. In one of the missions, players are introduced to the ability to pick up certain items, particularly bricks or various pieces of trash that can be thrown. But what goes unnoticed is the ability to similarly pick up a grenade. Have you ever accidentally thrown a grenade at Nico's feet? Usually, at that moment, the only thought is to run as fast as possible, but instead you can calmly pick up the grenade and switch to another weapon, thus saving the item itself and preventing destructive consequences. But this doesn't work like that in real life. Don't even try. In the fourth installment of Grand Theft Auto, car dealerships have quite a few interesting aspects. For example, if you drive a vehicle into a dealership parking lot, exit it, and then get back in, you'll somehow get a wanted level. I mean, just imagine you're taking your motorcycle and they call the cops on you, as if you took it from a supermarket parking lot. And you know what? The same thing happens at the luxury car dealership. It works exactly the same way there. And not far from this establishment, did you know that the doors close at night and open sometime in the morning? And at night, they close so well that you can't blast through them even with a rocket launcher. Against this background, the fact that you always get a wanted level when stealing a car from either dealership seems like something ordinary. But while one establishment clearly has a police station nearby, this joint doesn't have one. I think it's all about the scripts. Few people know about this apparatus, even though it's depicted on the game cover. The funicular in GTA 4 is quite hidden. I'm almost certain few people have used it, but you can actually ride it. And the views from it are pretty good. It's located here and here on the map. Funny thing is, I didn't know about the funicular until I sat down to make this video, despite having completed the game several times. At the beginning of the game, when Nico first exits the building where Roman lives, a small tutorial launches that tells the player how to save vehicles and replenish health. It's impossible to avoid this moment, well, almost, because one loophole does exist. It requires some time, so it won't be useful for everyone, but it's interesting in its own way, and speedrunners don't seem to complain. Basically, you need to take another car and park it next to the door, and when Nico is supposed to leave the building, you need to get into the vehicle without exiting the building. This means the main character skips the area where the tutorial was supposed to start, but it can still be triggered if you enter this area from the street. However, if you go further to the mission and complete it, there won't be any tutorial anymore. The police in the game are quite smart. For example, they can arrest someone who attacked you, put them in a police car, and take them to jail. But there are miscalculations like this one. They can't arrest you if you block the driver's door. They just can't. They'll aim at you with 1 star, and with 2 stars, they'll shoot at you. And with this little fact, you can set up a fun trick. With a wanted level, come here, position your car like this, and watch them run into the abyss. Officer, have a nice flight! In general, you can have a lot of fun with this. The fact that only corpses remain is bad, of course, but this is a game, not real life. On the streets of Liberty City, you can see multiple references to the game developers, but among them is one particularly little-known one. In Alderney, there's a sign with the initials of the developer studio, Rockstar North, and beneath it, a barely noticeable inscription that says San Andreas. I'm sure few people knew about this one. At the beginning of the game, it's super easy to get to the second island by car, even though all bridges are blocked. Just come here, drive up these steps, preferably with some speed, otherwise your car might get stuck on its belly, and go straight ahead. You can either drive around the poles or knock them down. That's up to you. But this doesn't eliminate the level 4 wanted level, which you won't be able to escape on the island due to a script that rewards you with a wanted level if you go somewhere you're not supposed to be. It's common to see police officers near the entrance to a police station. However, there's one exception. It's the LCPD department in Lower East and Algonquin. Here, police prefer to gather around the Rusty Brown's establishment across the street from their official building. Rusty Brown's eatery in the GTA world is known for its donuts, and the love for this treat is a well-known stereotype about police officers. But that's not all the details. If in GTA 4 we visit this establishment's website, we can find information about a special offer for police officers. And even on the Rusty Brown's building itself, there's a sign with a similar message. In general, you could say that for the cops from Lower Easton, this donut shop is their actual police station. Has anyone else always wondered why these construction scaffolds are standing here, and in such large numbers? Sometimes even without reason, ruining the beauty of Liberty City's center? Interestingly, in real New York, there are also plenty of such scaffolds. I decided to dig deeper and found an article about New York on the internet which stated that 43% of buildings were constructed before 1939. And all these structures haven't undergone major renovations because it's cheaper to level them to the ground. Residents have already gotten used to this, but meanwhile, these scaffolds make the gloomy city even more depressing. Building managers understand that the buildings are, in a sense, barely holding together, so they put up these scaffoldings to somehow ensure residents' safety. Blame it on local law number 10, which requires guaranteeing the safety of building facades and protecting pedestrians on sidewalks. It was passed in 1980 by Mayor Ed Koch because in May 1979, a student was killed by a terracotta fragment that fell from a building. In GTA 4, helicopters can actually move water with their rotor wash. Rockstar went all out with effects in GTA 4, and while most of them are pretty obvious, I mean, explosions and gunfire are hard to miss, some are way easier to overlook. We're used to helicopters leaving some ripples on the water in most games, but Rockstar took it a step further. Here, if you fly low enough, the air from the rotor blades actually pushes the water away in streams. What's really interesting is that a lot of GTA 4's physics effects didn't make it into GTA 5, but this one did, and they even improved it. In GTA 5, it looks even more impressive. In GTA 4, different cars get washed differently. Car washes are scattered all over Liberty City, but let's be honest, who actually uses them? The only thing you can do there is wash your car, and the only reason to even bother is if it's dirty. The fact that they exist at all is already an insane level of detail, considering they're pretty much useless. But what's even crazier is that the way your car gets washed depends on whether it has a roof. If you roll up in a regular hardtop, you'll go through an automatic wash. But if you show up in a convertible, you'll get a completely different animation where the car is washed by hand. GTA 4 is filled with details that nobody actually needs, but paradoxically, they're exactly what makes the world feel so real. If your car has dents, just quit the game and see, no more dents. I'm joking. Well, actually, the dents will disappear when you reopen the game. The body will also be restored on any other vehicle that might not belong to the main character. Despite all this, scratches might remain, and more importantly, the vehicle technically stays damaged, which you can notice from the smoke and impaired handling. So if the car is damaged too severely, it's still better to drive to a paint shop. In the building where the mission Escuela of the Streets takes place, you'll find a really cool detailed feature. If you shoot at sprunk boxes, greenish transparent streams of this beverage will appear from some of the bullet holes. And if you shoot at boxes labeled cola, a dark liquid will pour out, corresponding to that drink. But if you shoot at Redwood cigarettes, naturally, nothing like this will happen. When GTA 4 was officially released in spring of 2008, you could view statistics in the Rockstar Social Club about which users completed the game and how quickly. Literally within the first few days, the very top spot among 100% completions was taken by a British player named Ninja Raiden 2003 with a result of 17 minutes. Other players were absolutely horrified by such a score, and all sorts of accusations were thrown at the dubious champion. Some talked about cheating, while others blamed a glitch in Rockstar's service. However, Ninja Raiden 2003 soon gave his response and the story became clear. It turned out that thanks to his acquaintance at a video game store, he had purchased a licensed copy of GTA 4 several days before its release and started playing it. And it so happened that when Rockstar launched the player statistics page, this guy had very little left to complete a full 100% playthrough, which took just 17 minutes, and it was precisely this time that was recorded on the website. That's the forgotten story of the fastest GTA 4 completion. And those are all the facts for today. If you know any other interesting details, share them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you soon in new videos.